Hello and thanks for joining me. We're now doing part 6 of our video tutorial on how to create a cover song. But first we have some sad news. Our drummer, who's been working with us for about a year, has moved on to other projects. When we first met him, he was already touring with a band, and then COVID set in, so he wasn't doing much touring, so he was able to spend quite a bit of time with us, and he's done lots of projects with us and great contributions. Now up here in Canada, the COVID restrictions are lifting, and he's back on the road touring again, so he doesn't have the time to hang out with us, which is fine. We're leaving on the best of terms, and we wish Bruce all the best. But now, this video was to put the drum tracks into our project. So how are we going to do that? Do we put the project on pause, or is there another way? Stay tuned. So I use Logic Pro for my DAW, and within Logic they have a program called Drum Designer, which allows you to put in a drum track and customize it to the point where it almost sounds like it's played live. So we're going to look into that and see if that'll work for our project. We're going to divide our tutorial into 2 sections. First section, we'll just open up a Logic Pro file with just the drum track, and we'll look at all the options within the drum profiler and see what we can come up with. And after we're done with that, we'll open up our cover song tutorial and continue with that and build our own drum track and see how it sounds. So stay tuned, and we'll get into the Logic right now. Okay, so here we are in Logic, and what I've done is just open up a new file, and I've inputted a drum track. I have my audio 1 file here. That's my microphone for this video. So we just basically added a drum track. So the way we do that is we hit the plus sign here, click drummer, and then create. So then it will create it here, and I'm just going to go back from there. So if we have this one here, then we can go over to the library and we can pick who we want to be the drummer. If you've worked on this before, you'll get an idea of how this works. So we have different people, different styles of drumming, alternate songwriter, R&B, and then we can also pick the type of drum set that we want. So let's take a listen to this and see what it sounds like. Okay, so that's the just pretty basic drum set. Down here in the editor, we can pick different styles of playing. So for example, I'll see if I can, I'll play and change the different styles so you can hear. So as you can hear, it changes up the style of playing. We can pick a number of different ways of how this is going to sound, either loud or soft. We can go on simple or a complex type of drum pattern. And then over here, we can select the different styles of playing and what we want what part we want in the drum set. So for here, example, we have a hi-hat, or we can pick toms. And then we have different styles of toms playing. We can go here, same again with the hi-hat, upper cymbals. We can also add in percussion and have a number of different styles for the percussion. As you can see down here, we have the kick and snare, and we have different styles here. We also have the option of clicking this follow button, and what that will do is allow us to match it up with an existing file that we have. So typically it will be with the bass guitar. So if we had a bass guitar track in here, we could say follow that, and then the kick drum will sort of coordinate with that, and that helps bring it in and tighten up the mix a little bit. We have also the choice of either going 8/16. We can do a swing versions. We can adjust the amount of fill. And if we go into details, we can talk about the feel, whether we're pushing or pulling. Ghost notes, which are the ambient notes that are picked up from the microphone on the other parts of the drum set. So if we have the snare microphone, this will pick up the cymbals, etc. Same with the hi-hat. We need to have it closed or open. So that's quite a lot of options here, but the one thing is it's just the same pattern. So like we'll just listen to it again. So as you can hear, it's just the same pattern over and over again. So if we want to just stick with this, there is a way that we can change that up a little bit. And that's by putting in what's called arrangements. So if we go up here and click this arrow, we see we have an arrangement option. So if we have the marker here, we can go plus arrangement. And then that gives us as an intro. I'm just going to put a bunch in here just for a minute. And we can adjust these for a minute. Okay, so we can have an intro right here. If we want to change that, we click this arrow here. We have the option of intro, verse, chorus, bridge, or outro, or you can rename it. Here we have the verse, then we'll have a chorus, a bridge, outro, and let's just say we just have the outro. Okay, so that's our song. So we can adjust the bars that we have on the outro or intros, so we can bring that down to here. Make the intro just 4. Let's say the verse is this many. Anyway, what I want to show you is that it will bring our drum track to the intro section. So now we have the arrangements here. It'll show a plus sign. So if I hit plus, it will add another drum track in the verse. And likewise for the chorus, the bridge, and the outro. So as you can see, we got the outro there. Now what's going to happen is the drum pattern is going to change and make it a little bit more varied. So I'll just pull in this section here. So let's just listen to the end of the intro and we'll hear the transition into the verse, and you'll see that it's very different. So as you can hear, it leads into it and then it changes the pattern, and then likewise over here. So let's listen to the verse to the chorus. So as you can hear, that's changing, and then we'll do the same here for the bridge. And then we'll go to the outro. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just bring that right to here so you can actually hear the ending. So we're going from the bridge to the outro. So now we have a lot more varied sounds, and it sounds a little more realistic. So within each of these sections now, we can come into here, for example, in the verse, and we can adjust everything that we were adjusting on just the one single track. And likewise for the chorus and for the intro, etc. If we wanted to get really creative, we can go here, split the track, and then we have the option of changing both sections in the verse, or we can even go smaller and smaller, every 4 bars if we want. So we can go here, and we could go over here, for example. As long as it's a separate track within the verse, we have options down here to make any kinds of adjustments. So that's a lot more flexibility. So that works quite well, but there's an even better way we can do this. So over here in the library, we have what's called producer kits. And if you click down here, I already have these already downloaded. If you don't have them downloaded, it'll have a little download icon. So after we've selected the producer kit, which is down here with the SoCal producer kit and SoCal, we kept the same drum set that we were doing before. When we open that up, we have all the options of looking at the individual inputs. So now we have access to the kick in and out, the snare, the hi-hat, etc. So we can do individual processing on each of those inputs, which is much more of a realistic way of doing things. We even have a room A and a room B microphone, which just mics the whole drum set. And we also have leakage. If we go to this section right here, we can actually click up here on the top left, and that opens up our drum designer. And this is where it gets really, really customizable. So we can pick set kits here, or we can pick individual section drums and pieces and actually build our own set. So if we wanted to have a deep maple, we can do that. We can tune it up and down, dampen it. So if we do this, you can hear it dampens, gain, bring up the gain lower or higher, leakage, overheads, room A or B, on and off, and we can do that for every single drum, cymbals, hi-hats, and the rides. So this is very, very powerful. So we can actually build our own drum set if we want. I don't have a lot of experience with drums, so I just kind of go with what sounds good. But if you're a drummer and experienced and know about this, you can customize this right down to a very detailed level. So with all of this, we can get a very, very realistic sounding drum track. So we're gonna, in the next video, we're gonna take this knowledge and we're gonna try and build a drum track for the song that we're working on and see how it turns out. So see you in the next video. Okay, so here we've opened up our project, and in the other videos we've talked about putting in the vocals and all the guitars, etc., and the bass. So now we're going to look at the drums. So I've gone ahead and put in our arrangements as we talked about. So we have the intro, verse, bridge, chorus, etc., right through to the outro. And like I said before, here's our reference track. We don't need that anymore. I'm just leaving it there just as a reference, but we're pretty much on our own now with that. So I used Kyle as our drummer. I kept the SoCal producer kit, SoCal drum kit, and I made one or two changes. So if we open this up, we go here and open up our drum kit. I changed the snare drum here. Just sounded a bit better to me, kept everything else on. Other than that, I kept everything else the same. With the one kit. I kept everything modern. So I just made one small change there, and I think it sounds pretty good. So let's just take a quick listen to it. This is very rough mix with the vocals and everything else included. I'll just take it up to where the vocal starts, and then we'll talk about the next steps. So as you can hear, we have that nice transition. So I'll just solo. Oh, I just soloed myself out. Hang on a second here. So I'll solo my vocals and I'll solo the drums so we can hear the transitions and you can hear the differences. So as you can hear, it changes it up nicely. And then from the bridge to the chorus. And then we'll take it over to the end here. So I use the intro section at the end because it's a very similar pattern of singing. And then I added a tiny little piece of the outro right here. And you can make adjustments on that if you pull this forward or back. So for example, if I pull that forward, you'll see it adds a lot more ending parts here. So what I'll do is I'll just reverse that and let you listen to this first, and then I'll let you hear the difference when I extend this bar slightly. Okay, so that's the outro, and that kind of matches with the rest of the song, but just for an example, if I pull this out to here, you'll see there's a lot more activity, so let's listen to that. So as you can hear, it adds in, but you want to match that with the song ending. So for the song right at the 95 mark seems to sound pretty good. So that's basically it. Didn't take a whole lot of work to do that. Like I said, I made a small change on the snare drum, like I said right here. I might play around a little bit more here, but I think this will take you down the rabbit hole, so to speak. There's so many infinite possibilities that you can adjust. You could spend days and days and days working on this. So the way I normally do this kind of stuff is if I get to the point where I like it, I might try a few more things, and if it doesn't make any difference or is very subtle or it makes it worse, then I kind of call it at that point and say I'm done. It's like a painter when they're doing a painting, you know, it's never done, right? And then they finally, like I paint also, so when I finally do my signature on the painting, then I'm done. So this is what I do here. You got to be very careful not to sort of get dragged down and continue tweaking and tweaking and tweaking to the point where you're not really getting anything done. So for me, I'm pretty happy with that. So in the next video, we'll start looking at mixing this whole thing together. Now the ability here is if I start mixing and I find that there's a few things not quite right, I can actually go back and make some adjustments here. I always find simpler is better than too complicated. I try not to put too many plugins in. I'd like to keep it simple, and to me it sounds better unless you want to over process something. In the vocals, I do quite a bit in the vocals just to get that right sound, but apart from that, it's pretty easily done. So we'll see how it goes with the drums. So I'm going to call it on the drums for now, and then in the next video or the next lesson, we'll take a look at mixing. I'll show you the process that I go through to mix everything, and then at that point we'll start being a little more critical on all the points, and we'll see if we need to make more adjustments on the drums, and then we'll be looking at everything. Actually, we might make some adjustments on the bass and vocals and all the different guitar parts. Okay, and also I just wanted to add, I am using Boss GT1 guitar effects processor. I've used a bunch of set presets for these guitar parts, and once I get that put together, I'll save them as a package and I'll add that into the final video, and you're welcome to download it and use it and take a look at it and modify it or whatever. Okay, so we'll see you in the next video. Okay, so now we've got a pretty decent sounding drum track into our file, which is great. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me know in the comments what you do for drums. Do you have a live drummer and you process that in, or do you use the drum program in Logic Pro or maybe another program? Let me know in the comments and we can have a discussion. So thanks for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, hit the little notification bell. You'll see when we put up another video. And the next video we're going to look at putting all of this together and getting together a mix. And then after that, we'll master it together and then show you how to submit onto streaming services. So thanks for watching and talk to you soon. Bye now.